Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out. All right, everybody. It's been a long time coming. It's a long time going. You guys have been busy. I've been kind of busy. Obviously, Zach, you can tell I've worked on my table.
Oh, yeah.
And I've done some pretty fancy things at the table here. But it's another episode of the Vision Quest podcast with none other than the man, Teague Fenwick, and Zach Pearson. It's all three of us together again, just kind of hanging out and talking about, what we're doing and what wrestling's doing, really. Because, I mean, some of the changes are kind of cool.
Yeah.
The college changes. I guess I'm a little torn on the 3-point kind of move, but I guess it's great because they're creating offense as far as what I hear. Is that what that means, that it does creates offense?
Yeah, that's apparently what it's supposed to do.
Because so I don't. Okay, I get what they're trying to do, and I understand, and the fan base, and they're trying to bring more butts in the seats and things like that. Totally get it. Is that going to change the landscape of how guys how everything is wrestled from here on? Is this part of an evolution that we have in the sport? Like,
I don't think so. No, scoring 3 points for a takedown isn't going to make you score more points if you never got a takedown in a match before anyway. So now, because part of 1 matches are still going to be 1-1.
Do you guys remember what that change was with the escape? What with you don't get the escape or something like that if the escape point? No, riding time point.
Yeah, riding time point. You don't get a riding time point if you don't get a turn.
Correct. So that you had that part I totally get.
Yeah,
you're making those guys
like
get a turn.
that.
Yeah,
it's not just about riding, and they also made the sitting on the ankle a 5 count, just like it was before.
But it was before.
Well, yeah, but now it's a actual verbal 5 count, like the going down to an ankle.
Yep.
It's a count
right off the bat. So I mean, as soon as my hand goes on, if I'm trying to just pull him up and drive him forward, they're counting as soon as I grab it.
Yeah, but they're already doing that if you grab it, but now they're doing it if you sit on it, like with your.
Oh, sit. That's right. Yeah, hooking it in your leg and then sitting down. So because that's actually become watching the past year or two.
That's why people are getting rideouts.
It's becoming real popular.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's a big Penn State thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it was like a '90s thing. Yeah. It's coming back. Like my old high school used to do that all the time.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I remember seeing that a little bit. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, Teague, what's your take on it?
So I got a couple of example matches actually, and they both provide like points, like for what Zach said, and also like we talked about generating offense. Well, the goal is to either pin someone.
Yes.
In wrestling, if you can't do that, you pour on the points. So let's say we're in a situation where we pour on the points. I looked at a couple of matches that I thought of right away. Yeah. And in regards to Zach's, we're like, if it's not a high takedown match, it's not going to make any difference. So sorry to bring this up for the Grayson Clark fans, but looking at Grayson's loss to Shane Corrigan his freshman year.
Yeah.
Jeff said on your show that it was Grayson basically controlled the match. He just ended up not winning it. Like
correct.
He got ridden
It's a match that if you didn't see the scoreboard, you would think he won it, but he didn't win. That one ended up being 3-2. They each got 1 takedown. So that wouldn't have changed anything. The score would have been 4-3.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, strategy-wise, I don't even think it would change anything with a 3-point takedown. But so that kind of plays towards Zach's point where you still need to get takedowns if you want to win the match.
Totally.
So then I guess a match for my point where I agree with the 3-point takedown. I thought of Max Ramberg versus Soren Herzog.
Yep.
From the Husky invite a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I remember this match like it was yesterday.
Fucking mind like a steel trap, this guy. Jesus Christ, yeah. Holy shit.
Ramberg was winning 6-4, and Herzog had 4 escapes.
Yeah.
Herzog got a takedown with like less than a minute left.
Yeah.
Ended up sending it to OT and ended up getting the takedown to win in overtime.
Yeah.
But with that 3-point takedown, hypothetically, Max had 2 takedowns to Soren's 1. The final score would have been, I think it would have been 8-7 then.
Okay.
So that's a match where like Max is he's obviously controlling most of the match.
Right. Yep.
And B, he got more takedowns.
Yeah.
And that would have been the difference maker. So you're going to see it like not in the matches that are low scoring where it's like fine cut like that between two similar wrestlers. But if there's a lot of action, that could be the difference maker. So I don't think it's going to be a huge difference, but you'll see it like when it comes to those like closer high level matches.
Yep. And so I totally agree with that. As far as the bottom thing, I think is great. I think the 3-point takedown thing is, to me, it's almost redundant with being on the bottom kind of as far as how much more offense, do you want to create? Guys were I think to me, in a neutral position, guys were already really starting to get pretty offensive. They're opening up a lot more. But I think it's more for attention. I think it was more of a, because guys are getting noticed kind of thing. Not attention in a bad way. I'm not talking about like a little kid in the back of the classroom, like, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
Just they're getting things done because they want people to be excited about the match that they have, or they want to bring the crowd up a little bit more because they're down in points, things like that. Whereas on the bottom, it makes way more sense because, again, I was always a guy that was pissed when someone was either sitting on an ankle or I'm tired of double boots.
Yeah.
Tired of double boots, man. And the reason why is because kids don't do shit with it.
Right.
They don't do anything with it. And I couldn't remember, I could probably count on both hands how many times I saw it done at state this past year where kids are putting double boots in. The guy was on his knees, so they broke him down. Great. They did what they were supposed to do there. But then it's just forearm to the back of the head while you got 2 boots in and like, where are you going?
Right.
And so I can appreciate the bottom call more than the 3-point takedown. Now, am I completely bashing the 3-point takedown? No, but I guess I just don't see the point of making that whole thing work. Because now you give him a 3-point takedown, he's ahead more. But if he gets that 3-point takedown, maybe he's going to cut that guy in the bottom now instead of trying to ride him.
Yeah,
because he's only giving him a point.
Yeah,
and you just got 3, so now you're ahead. That guy has to still get a takedown just to tie it up.
Yeah.
So in my mind, make that bottom part stick and just keep the takedowns the way they were, because the guy's if he's gonna stay on top and wants to get the points on top, he's gonna have to ride him out. Am I making sense? I almost feel like I was kind of talking in circles there, but but it just seems like the bottom points like that were way more productive than doing a 3-point takedown. That's me.
Yeah,
it's kind of how I see it.
So a couple additions to the point. Well, when it comes to the double leg ride, being a Holman guy, I personally love the double leg ride. Like that's our bread and butter on top.
Right, man. It's points, right?
Our guys are brutal with it. They can at least make it look like, I would say we're not stalling. If we are, we do a really good job of not making it look like we're stalling.
Yeah.
It was great until the Kakana guys figured out how to defend it at Team State.
You're welcome.
It's not like we had an hour-long practice just on double boots or anything.
I would say with the 3-point takedown, let's say if this gets proposed at the high school level.
Yeah.
People and I don't want to say it's a dumb argument because I like when people bring up talking points. When you're brainstorming, there's no dumb thoughts, right?
Right.
But don't use change. Well, if we do this, let's change the criteria of a tech fall.
Yes, right.
Here's the thing. If you get a tech fall using 3-point takedowns, you need 7 through 9 takedowns, depending on the amount of escapes.
Yep.
Right now, it would be 14, 15 takedowns. And you just look at that number straight up.
Yep.
And you're 15 takedowns to 8 is a lot.
Yeah.
But when you think about it technically, if you're getting 8 takedowns on a guy, you're still a lot better than him. Like, no guy's lucking their way into 8 takedowns.
Right.
Like, I still think if you're getting 7 or 8 takedowns against a dude, like with a 3-point takedown, yeah, I would say you earn a tech ball.
You're right. Right. Sure. Exactly. For sure. I did totally agree with that too. I think a lot of the action issues just really wind up being a confidence issue. Really. I mean, it's not, to me, it wasn't for lack of it. I think it was just lack of confidence in guys like, well, I mean, the college level is a little different, but not really. I mean, some of these guys still watch it. It's not like they come out in an interview and be like, oh, I was really worried about that guy. I didn't know what I was going to do. You don't hear that from them, but you know somewhere in their mind, even though all that training's gone on, that they're kind of thinking like, man, I don't know if I if I make a mistake doing this, and that could cost me a lot of points, or cost me at least 2, and it may be the match, a 2-point match kind of thing swing. I think it's a confidence thing, and honestly, I think it's a coach's responsibility to get that going instead of changing the rules for everybody. Yeah. But that bottom, to me, and I actually forgot about that, the turn thing. That bottom one is perfect because I'm tired of watching guys just sitting on top, just beating the piss out of the back of someone's head and doing nothing. Right. So
the thing I'm worried about with the rule is it's going to become a freestyle match as far as no top wrestling. If you're not good on top, you're just going to cut them instead of trying to ride. And
we're like 2 or 3 rule changes away from being freestyle.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what are we going to do? If he gets exposure from his feet, we'll give him more points.
Right.
That'd be a good idea.
So that's kind of, and that's, so I remember when this first started kind of rolling out, when they were talking about some of these, that's what people were saying, that might as well be freestyle. And I was like, well, it doesn't, I can't just jump out and say it. So I was kind of reading more of the rules and like what they have for rules for freestyle. I was like, shit, it's really only a couple things away from it really being free. I mean, turns.
Yeah, I mean, the turns and then the
guts and stuff like that. And I'm all for it.
Extra points for feet to back would be the only thing.
If we switched to freestyle for high school, I wouldn't bark.
Yeah, I know, but I like having folk style. I don't know, just the
Merca
old school, We're the only ones that do it. I
love folk style wrestling. Wouldn't want to see it changed on the guys' end.
Yeah.
I do think since girls college wrestles freestyle, if there would be a way to make girls high school freestyle, I do think that would make a lot of sense.
That should have been done right away.
Zach has a little skin in the game when it comes to girls wrestling, so I would love to hear Zach's opinion on that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that they should be freestyle because my daughter wrestles. Yeah, she doesn't wrestle freestyle. Because we're doing soccer. And tennis and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally know, because I brought that up too, as far as kind of talking to some refs and things like that, and they basically said like, we don't have enough refs to ref freestyle. Right. We don't have coaches that can coach freestyle. I mean, how many high school guys coming out that are just like math teachers or something that know how to coach freestyle? Oh yeah. So the struggle is real. WIA, I get it, as far as that point goes, but it's to the extent of why can't we extend ourselves a little bit then to bring people in for it? To at least have them training at school for it. They may not be able to compete, and then you're confusing them. And then you're putting training in it, and then you're going to compete in this, and makes absolutely no sense. So I think it's great, and obviously I'm pushing it. I love it. It's great. We got to keep it going no matter what. Hopefully, and then somewhere near future, we can kind of get on the train of, okay, now we've got some people here. And Askren's doing a great job of getting girls, going with the club wrestling. And so is Nazar's doing great. All the clubs are doing great with getting it going and keeping that sustained. Yeah. And we're just never on the same page when it comes to the school sports in general.
The best incoming freshman, the Riley Hanrahan
Hanrahan?
Yeah. She's not going to wrestle in high school. She's going to just do freestyle.
Yep.
And she should.
Yep. Correct. Because that's where you're going to be in college. And you're so the only thing that we're helping here is just getting girls in wrestling.
Right.
That's really all we're helping. We're getting them into the sport, which hallelujah, great. And
we made it a high school sport for what?
But all for nothing, because now these girls are going to go to the Olympic Training Center or RTC.
It's going to be like soccer,
correct?
Because all the good ones just don't even play in high school like girls.
The only thing that I do like about it, is just bringing this up, is the RTC situation where the girls can now possibly go to those RTCs at the colleges, which I think the colleges should be opening with open arms.
Oh yeah,
and being like, come in. But we have Bono and those guys who have recently, I think, closed down their women's
side, I guess, not entirely saying no to it, but it's kind of closed down for now where they don't have, like, I think Rona was there, but I don't know what's going on.
I don't think they have an athlete in RTC that's a woman.
Just had her kid, so I know but she was training through Nazar and not even really at Wisconsin anymore. So we seem to have these hiccups, and Wisconsin tends to have that issue where we're a little bit behind the curve because we're trying to protect something else. And I never really fully understand. And we can always say, well, you know, Kevin Black and whoever it is that's running things or doing whatever. It's not Black, but it's one of those things where we can only do so much. And I think I made the comment on someone made a post about they're bitching about something the city did. Don't be an armchair dude, you know, like be an advocate for something and push it, you know, but at the same time, don't be. It's easy to, and I'm guilty of it. It's easy to sit back and just bitch about it and be like, You look at all the variables.
Not gonna change anything.
But can you?
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing is your hands are really tied. So I understand where people are frustrated and you at least voice your opinion, but even voicing the opinion doesn't get very far, you know, because you only have so much power. But bringing girls' sports in general into the venue and just bringing them into the discussion, like I've said from the beginning, is like saved the sport.
Yeah.
But then you disrespect it like that. You know, all you're doing is
I don't know that's just a Wisconsin thing because I don't know any state that does freestyle for girls' high school.
Texas?
Do they?
I'm pretty sure because those guys have been in it for a while, though.
Okay.
Those guys have been in it, I think, Texas, like Washington and those guys.
Okay.
I just had Emma Bruntel on and kind of talking to her about Washington wrestling, girls wrestling, and kind of asking, well, you know, what was it like? How many kids? She's like, well, we kind of started before everybody did. So as far as I know, I believe Texas does freestyle at their high schools. Okay. I could be putting my foot
for
in my
girls
mouth.
or
for girls.
Okay.
Not boys.
Okay.
Boys, obviously, like you said, we're the U.S. We do folk style, but so you know, as far as the rule changes, as far as points go and things like that. I mean, if we're going to wind up changing all of these to one certain point, and we're kind of dumbing down what we actually do with folk style, I think maybe we just change it to freestyle, but that's wishful thinking. I'd like that just because we would then be much more competitive with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
When it comes to, you know, world team trials and Olympics and things like that, where we're doing great now. I mean, obviously look at our lineup is no slouch, but these high school kids are suffering. And it's like Luke says, these guys come out and they may be great freestyle wrestlers, but because they're also doing folk style, they've also lost those gaps of time in between of keeping all of that. So it's hard. And then the girls that we have in Wisconsin, they go out and they smash, you know, everybody when it comes to freestyle and the training that they have. And those girls typically aren't wrestling in high school wrestling, you know? And then I totally forgot too, like girls don't have Greco.
Yeah.
Why? That's kind of weird. You give them freestyle. Why wouldn't you like add Greco into that? Kind of odd to me, but whatever. That's not part of the rule change. So I'm looking at some of them here. Teague. The other one here that I noticed was the medical forfeit. That's going to change. Yay. Thank God. Make people compete.
Yeah, they can. It will count against their losses.
Correct. The first medical forfeit of a tournament will count as a loss on the wrestler's record. An exception will be if the medical forfeit occurs immediately after an injury default in a tournament.
Yeah.
That is it. And I praise that one. High five. Good job. It seemed like on this round of rules changes, like none of them were horrible.
No.
A lot of them made sense. Some were just kind of like head scratchers, like they would need to do that kind of thing. But hey, I guess we'll find out if it works. We'll just keep changing rules as we.
So now that people can have like full ZZ Top beards.
Get into that. I'm proud of that one. I hope I helped in that. I really hope I did, because then I shaved it off, trimmed it off. There's the penalty for delayed coach's video review challenge request will be changed to a loss of the video review. Previously, it was a control of mat violation and 1 point deduction from the team total.
Yeah.
That seemed pretty harsh.
Yeah, but I mean, it was basically like getting their kid a breather. You know?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
because
for
they're
sure.
stopping the match and then they're arguing that.
Yep.
I was in time.
Playing the game.
I mean, if they're going to stop it, they were just stopping it for a long time and then.
Strategy, man. You find the loopholes, right?
One team point, so
you find the loopholes.
Yeah.
Well, you coach Teague. You find every loophole you can. You take advantage of that shit, right? Hell yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's right.
The one thing I know, this isn't like totally wrestling related.
Yeah,
it is wrestling related, but like
whatever.
Keeping the 2.0 GPA, man. That's gonna expose some people. I feel like.
What do you mean?
You didn't hear about it?
No.
It's a 2.0 GPA. You got to keep that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think that's almost every requirement in almost every college, isn't it?
Well, D's get degrees. So.
Yeah. Isn't that 2.0?
No,
isn't that a D?
No, that's a C.
Oh man! Wow, yeah. I thought those were D's.
No, D's. My school, my daughter's school doesn't even do fucking grades anymore. They do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right? You can't get a fucking 0.
Nope. And then comments. Yeah, lots of comments.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like my daughter was ahead of schedule in like by a whole level in math, and she didn't get a 4. I was like, what the fuck? She's a whole level over what you expected. Why isn't that an A? And we don't do A's.
No.
Don't put A's or B's in there. Like I'm like, okay.
So I suggested to Liam when he starts signing up for college classes, like when he gets to that point, I was like, make sure you're signing up for classes that they can't change how you do it.
Right.
Like I said, all trigonometry, I said they can't change that. You can't put boxes, squares, and all that other bullshit to trigonometry. Right. I was like, it's a little complicated, but it's fun math to learn. I was like, but that they can't change. That stays the same forever. Take all this addition, subtraction, all this other bullshit. I don't know if I ever told you this. When Bryce came home, my oldest, when he came home with some math homework or whatever, this must have been like 3rd grade that he was in. We did not know what the hell was going on in the paperwork, like at all. So there's that new math, whatever, I don't know what they call it, Common Core math.
Yeah.
We had no idea about Common Core. So we told him, we're like, I don't know what this is. And he couldn't explain it very well to us because apparently he didn't pay attention very well in class. Yeah. So I said, I'm going to teach you the old way, where you carry numbers and then you put them over here and you bring some down here. So we showed him that, but I had to leave a voicemail for the teacher saying like, just so you know, we're sending Bryce back to school with his homework done the old way because we don't know how you do the new way. No. So just don't mark him wrong. Please contact us and give us a hand so we can help with this Common Core math. So I'm looking at things and like I get what they're trying to do, but I was like, how are you adding it?
Yeah.
I need to sit down in front of the teacher and like figure this out.
Yeah.
My wife's got 2 degrees. 2 college degrees.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out Common Core math just by looking at it and trying to figure it out on her own.
Yeah.
So I just told him, I was like, just find the things that are true. Find the things that are true in school and don't change from them. Yeah. Just stay.
I hope like I've seen some of the Common Core math stuff and I'm like, wow, it's definitely like bamboozling to figure out. I really do hope that's like with rule changes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I hope it's trial and error where after like a year or two, they're like, yeah, no one's catching on to this. No one's picking it up.
Yep.
But
out of here.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a lot more time now that they got the phone.
Is like, it's a really trial and error. You got to commend them for trying because I'm sure whoever like did the lattice method for multiplication first, like the people who learned that were like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, right. No kidding.
But I love the lattice method. So,
and everybody's got their things, but like as a parent, how embarrassing. I was like, this sucks. Like, I can't believe I can't figure out Common Core math.
Oh, yeah.
But here I am out in a construction site adding all kinds of fractions together. But I can't figure out Common Core math. But anyways, here's another one. Any true placement matches conducted in an event will not after the final team score. Any true placement matches conducted in an event will not.
So like
will not alter.
Like a true second match. Alter the team
because I can't read. I said after, not alter. The L is not an F. Alter the team score. So that's I get that. You're just going back to see it's.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. All right. Officials.
Damn. Would that hypothetically, Zach? Would that like if that was a high school thing? Would Kakana have lost to Nina 2 years ago?
No, we were winning. They had the most wrestlebacks coming in. They needed the wrestleback round to make it closer.
Lost to Nina.
Okay, I thought they had the lead at some point during.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
They did at like going into our last 2.
Yes,
but they needed the wrestleback to get those points.
Hope they enjoyed that.
Yeah,
that didn't last long. I'm getting a little more brazen with my likenesses of who I like and who I don't like, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm all right with it, but. So the other one that's on here that I'm looking at, officials can let action continue after penalizing an illegal hold and not require stoppage. I always thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
Just award the point. Let them keep wrestling. Like if the wrestler, if you're a wrestler, okay, hear me out. And I wasn't great. I was not highly competitive. I didn't get to see, Fargo stuff like that as a competitor. when you're wrestling, did that stoppage benefit you? Did you feel like that if you didn't know that they stopped because of that, did you not know the points? Was that something that you needed to calculate in your head?
No.
While you were wrestling?
The only reason I see a stoppage is needed is if it's gained.
Or they're hurt.
Put the guy on his back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the only way that I would ever think that a stoppage should be done in the first place.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, you always say, because they would do this, and all of a sudden, like, the whistle blows them. Why are you stopping? It's just locked hands, man. Right. It's just, whatever. But, yeah. I'm glad they paid attention to that because that was getting kind of annoying. So, let's see. The next one I'm reading, and again, I'm not just on the Team USA Wrestling website in case anybody's looking. The current mandatory 5-second count for the waist and ankle ride will be expanded to include all situations in which the top wrestler grasps the bottom wrestler's ankle.
Yeah.
Any grasp, hand, locked between your calf and your thigh, anything. So again, we were talking about that a little bit.
That was way too prevalent in NCAAs. Like you saw so many ride outs come down to that, and people were picking top because they could do that. Yep.
And what was funny too is like sometimes guys weren't even trying to put it in. Right. The guy's foot just moved there.
Yeah,
just happened to flip over to that guy's lock it in. Got that.
I'll sit on that for a minute.
Right, this is kind of crazy. So we talked about that one. Weigh-in times across all competition types will be standardized to 2 hours or sooner before the start of competition. Previously, tournament weigh-ins were 2 hours or sooner, but dual meet weigh-ins were permitted only 1 hour or sooner before the start of competition. Yeah. Why is that an issue? Please explain.
I don't know. It's got to be recovery related.
Okay.
Like it was only an hour.
Yeah. Some snack. Some snacks.
It was only an hour for duels. Now. Yeah.
Beef jerky snacks. There's that meme with that fat kid that came out of the closet with some cookies or whatever. Turned out, I was like snacks. And he's just carrying a big bag of cookies. That's me. That's me on like maybe tomorrow. Who knows? 4th of July, I could be hands full of shit. But so I guess I never really. So this to me is like wrestling. You're down. You're at a national tournament. If he needs to weigh in an hour, just tell me what time we need to be there.
Yeah.
Like generally
doesn't matter. You can tell me 15 minutes.
Right. Because so I'm going to put it in a very crude way, the way I can describe this, right? I don't really have a lot of sympathy for people like, oh my God, thank God it's this with weigh-in times. Cause we didn't play that game. We didn't play he's got 2 hours to cut 16 ounces and all this other shit. We didn't do it. So someone who maybe is all appreciative of it could, maybe it's because their kid cuts too much weight, and now that Liam has grown and the things that we've gotten into and seen through wrestling, I don't have a lot of sympathy for these kids who can't make a weight, who cut too much weight, who try to drop a weight to make it because I want to get to here, I'm going to drop 15 pounds because it's easier for me to get somewhere. I understand kids' goals and I understand that they have the dreams and things that they want to accomplish certain things. Totally get it. I was there. Someone asked me one time via text message if I'm an expert on being a 15-year-old. Well, I was fucking 15 once. So, yeah, I kind of know what it's like to be a 15-year-old.
I made it through 15, so
correct.
I'm an expert.
I am an expert because I passed it 3 times now. I've done 15 3 times in a row, if you want to count it that. But with that being said, I think a lot of what happens with weight cutting and just the weights with teams and guys who are trying to balance it, and sometimes they screw up. They just forget to do something. It's just being a kid, that kind of thing. I get that. Things like that, you have to kind of keep track of your kids. But I have seen, and I'll say 2 families in particular that have ruined their kids' sizes because of what they've done with cutting weight. And if a lot of this with the weigh-in times is because of that, with recovery and shit like that, I mean, this is, to me, it's another rule because someone was too stupid to do it properly.
Yeah.
And someone could talk to me and see me on the street and be like, you don't know what you're talking, and that's fine. You can tell me that. I don't care. As far as the route that we have gone with Liam and the things that we've seen, and we've tried to pay attention and tried to take lessons away from these things. These times, just find a time that works.
Yeah.
Honestly, make it more convenient for the tournament workers. That's all I care about. Make sure that they're happy so that they score properly, or that they write down weights properly, or the kid's name and team properly. I'm more for that when it comes to weighing it somewhere, because these fucking kids should have control of their weight already. There should be some type of again, maybe some people are more privileged or they just figured it out. It was easier for their kid. I get it. But at the same point though, too, why are there so many people struggling with weighing in? Why? I think it's a responsibility that, number one, you should have to a team, and I think parents should be reiterating that to their kids. But we run into the whole parent factor again. Yeah. Or you run into the P word.
Right.
You can't blame the kids for all of it because the parents are the ones facilitating a lot of it. And if these times really boil down, and I don't know why the main gripe was about having times so separate and making sure that they're aligned at a certain place. But to me, it just seems like if I need to be there an hour before with him, I'll make sure he's there an hour before and on weight.
Yeah.
I will make sure, and he'll make sure he's doing it now. Like he's really doing it on his own. He's making sure he's got to get down to a certain weight to be able to wrestle for a certain weekend. He knows he's got Fargo coming up. If you balance your kids enough and you actually have a stern hand with your kids, not like, well, I don't know what Jimmy wants to do. Don't have that attitude. Like obviously you don't know wrestling then, and you're putting your kid in kind of a dangerous situation. Yeah. By messing with their eating and their health and all that stuff. So hopefully it works. Hopefully that's one of them, I guess I really don't care about because it's never really affected anything that Liam's ever done when it comes to competition. And again, it may affect someone else and I can't just think of myself, but I just don't see why was it a problem? Jamie Nelson could call me tomorrow and be like, hey, I heard that episode. Why don't you understand what's going on? And then you'll explain it to me and I'll get it. But Teague, do you understand it?
I don't know. It's one of those that might be above my head.
Sure.
As a media guy, it doesn't directly involve the matches,
right?
So I'm going there and I'm covering who's wrestling wherever they wrestle.
Yeah,
but
yeah, right, exactly. It's like I guess that's more for the coaches and I guess the kids really on that one. But weight certification for all schools will be permitted to start September 1st. What was it before?
I have no clue. Probably had to have been late September.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean it's probably
bumped it up a little bit more.
Yeah, or maybe it was actually. I can't remember.
I guess that's kind of a benefit. The kids kind of know what they're doing, right? If it's sooner, then they know what they're doing sooner, kind of thing.
I don't know if it's later or sooner.
The rule limiting facial hair to no longer than a ½ inch has been eliminated. Thank you, Jesus, Lord Almighty. Let the freak flag fly when it comes to beards, baby. What was the problem with that? Was they were just worried about hair being on the mat?
I have no clue.
Oh, skin diseases. That's why, because it hides them. Man, well, you don't want to be me, because every skin disease is going to get covered up with my hair.
I mean, I don't know about you, Brad. I personally shampoo and clean my beard, and I hope other people are doing that. Oh, yeah. So I'm glad that this has been changed.
Yeah, I soap, so I shampoo, I condition, and I also oil and wax it. I mean, this thing's pretty immaculate up here. Now my scalp, whole different issue. I use and abuse that. Like a dirty wash rag, and I've been working outside, Teak, for so long that I'm pretty sure the top of my head may be just a callus. Pretty sure. Tops of my ears have been fried. I can't even count how many times the tops of my ears have been fried. So letting those guys have their beards.
You are wearing your Vision Quest hat apparel outside?
No. Usually it's getting washed because I wear it so much, but I try to do what I can and get exposure to the sun because of my pale complexion, because I'm Irish/German. Okay. But anything I do, I burn. I don't tan. I red. So I like the beard thing. I think it's going to bring you're going to start seeing some characters, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might see some guys do. I think it could be a drawback though as well, because you see how many of those WWE guys have all those crazy, stupid line drawings and shit like that in their beards and in their sideburns. That could be a curse that comes along with it. But what do you expect? They're kids though. It's more explainable for them than it is for a grown ass man in the WWE.
Yeah.
Looking like some kind of weirdo, you know, but hey,
I mean, it is theater in a sense. So it makes
right.
If we want to get into it, I'm going to be the guy that defends WWE on every front.
Right. So I looked up, this Wrestle Inc., right? This thing that I put out the other day, I had to make sure that no one else had it. Someone has Wrestling Inc., but that's all WWE stuff. Oh, okay. We'll talk about that stuff a little bit more in a little bit, but it's just kind of I had to make sure because WWE, big conglomerate. Right. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them guys.
Yeah. WWF.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
I went.
I am not scared of them.
Pretty big WWE phases in my life.
I did watch a lot. I watched a lot of WWF. It was WWF though when I was a kid. Watching Hulk Hogan. I was a huge fan. Huge fan, dude. I just never got. Did you ever go to one, Teague?
I did.
You went to one in Indiana?
Yeah.
Like one of the lower level ones?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like one of those guys with signs and stuff.
I mean, Teague, have you ever been in one of those small ones that's at like the Columbus Club or anything like that?
No, I haven't gone to like independent stuff.
Yeah.
I've gone to 3 events, I think, in my life, 3 or 4.
Okay.
I went to one when I was like 12. It was like a golden birthday present.
Nice.
And that was like just as a kid, like still on the fringe of like thinking that everything's real, and like just being jacked up to see all my favorite stars and stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, like once you find out that it's like scripted, or like when you're a kid, you don't think about the word scripted. You're just like, oh, it's fake.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, oh, that kind of sucks. And then once I got into the college a little bit, I had a friend who liked WWE. And we kind of talked about like the scriptedness of it, and we went to a live event.
Yeah.
And to me, it kind of brought the magic back in that like these are still really, really good athletes doing crazy things.
They are.
And and whether if the storyline hits, that's just an added bonus.
Yep.
So yeah.
I watched an interview of a guy it was a little reporter man. And he was interviewing a WWF guy, and he asked him, like, what do you think about people saying that this is fake or something like that? And that WWE dude just hauled off and slapped the piss out of that guy. Fake? How fake is it now? The guy stands up and fake? How fake is it now? Just kept knocking him to the floor. I was like, this is the best ever. Because I mean, I remember for a while too, after learning that it was like, scripted or whatever. I'm like, oh man,
look, even this little reporter guy.
Yeah, right. they're not really punching each other, but like you said, Teague, you could put 2 and 2 together. They're still doing like super athletic, moves and acrobats and stuff. Like, I mean, they could break anything at any moment, having not working together or anything like that with the guy in the ring, and kind of learning a little bit more. They've done some documentaries on it and things like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And once you break that wall, like some things are more impressive, or like monologues become a lot funnier.
Yeah.
You're right. You're like, oh my God, these guys are literally putting on a show. Like these might be the best actors and actresses I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Or the worst.
Yeah.
Depending on who you watch.
Yep.
Then like, even like if you think about it, like you can't really fake like jumping 20 feet off a ladder.
Can't. Nope. I don't even think David Copperfield could pull that off and fake that one. I think that one's pretty in your face on that one. So yeah, that was always entertaining watching wrestling. Was it Saturday afternoons or Saturday mornings? I think it came on. It was always right after cartoons. I think the cartoons came on first, and then wrestling was after that. Yeah. And then my parents took cable away. So I was kind of screwed after that because they said I watched too much TV.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's completely opposite. It's like, stay inside. We don't want you to get hurt. Don't scrape your
Everybody's
knees.
bad.
Yeah, right? Okay, well, I think we covered some of the rules. I think we're good on college. Guys, those guys get covered by WI Wrestle.
Yeah.
I was kidding. We covered too. But with weights, Wisconsin wrestling. We got a little bit of a weight change coming up. Now, obviously, Zach was telling me it doesn't really affect too many of the guys in the beginning of the weights, like up to what, 140?
Well, I think the first one
140s.
Is the first one different, right? And then after that,
RIP 145, by the way.
Yeah,
RIP. Oh no,
144.
Dude, 145 was like the oldest functioning weight class.
Yeah.
Was it really? From like 1930 something?
Yeah, I mean, like when I was in high school, it was like 103. 112.
I'm saying bring back 96.
Yeah, it was 98 before.
Was it?
It was.
All right, here we go. 13, 20, 26, 38. Yeah, 44. There it is.
Oh, jeez.
50, 57.
Okay.
65.
So 44 to 50, right? Okay. So what to me, what was the need for this change? What it's still 14 weights, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the amount stayed. Why the change?
They took away.
So can I? I'll start with the top 4 weights. I really think this is where you can flesh some things out.
Yep.
So top 4 weights: 82, 95, 220 heavyweight.
Yep.
New weights now 75, 90, 215 heavyweight.
Yep.
So, and you can see it in almost every single bracket at every single tournament, how much talent is concentrated in the middle weights, especially.
Yeah.
And every year, and I'm not knocking the guys. I mean, all of these dudes could kick my ass, but I always seem to notice that like either 195, I'd say more so 95 than 20.
Yeah.
But it just seems to be a weaker weight class in terms of depth, I'll say.
I agree.
You still have your really good guys, but it drops off pretty fast.
It does.
So I think it does a good job of you can spread out these talented guys amongst the middle weights more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think it's going to make those upper weights even better now.
So it dropped. So the weights actually dropped in the upper weights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it dropped. So you're bringing.
Used to be 80, like the top four would be 82, and now it's 75, and then it would have been 95, and now it's 90.
What's the cap at heavyweight?
285.
The max is 285.
Yeah.
Okay, but it starts at where? Heavyweight starts at 285. 220.
It's 215.1.
215. Okay. So it was at 220. They dropped it down to 215.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now with it more spread out, you're going to be able to get like deeper weight classes.
Okay.
There.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, and that makes more sense on that one. As far as but I didn't understand why lighter weights didn't change.
Yeah, 106, 113, all of them stayed the same till.
So and someone made that
it was going to be 108. I thought it was going to be coming up. I thought.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Someone made the argument somewhere. Well, why don't we just make it 10 weights? It's 10 weights in college, right? And it's like, but if you're trying to grow a sport, why are you fucking taking weights away? You know, you can't do that. But it's at the same point though, too. It's kind of like we don't really emulate anything of what these kids need to be doing by the time they get to college.
Right.
You know, like they get kind of freedom in high school when it comes to schoolwork, things like that. I'm just trying to kind of bring a realization to certain things that we don't really prepare kids for getting out of high school at all. So sports wise, they're just talking about 10 weights. And I understand what they're saying. College is doing it. Why aren't we doing it? But again, you know, like I just said, not every school is going to fill a team. So 10 weights makes sense to them. But then you come up to Appleton or something with 3 high schools, and it's like you way too many kids.
Right.
Well, except for maybe Appleton West.
Yeah, well.
But I'm not West, East. I mean, but West is still kind of the same thing. But I understand we're both sides of it where, yes, we need to keep the weights, and I understand the balance. I guess I get the changes and why they made the changes as far as, like you said, you're adding a little bit more depth and things are going to get a little more interesting, Teague. But at the same point, though, too, it seemed like some of the changes were so minute.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like they had to change it just because it was something that they had to do.
Right.
So like, why are you going from 145 to 144? I don't get it.
Because they had to.
I would be willing to get. I'm guessing the NFHS. So the one thing the NFHS has is they probably have a lot of numbers to like back up their stuff.
Sure,
so
right.
I'm sure it's just stuff that's like way above our heads.
Yep.
To be honest.
Yep. It's beyond my pay grade. So I mean, I just try to talk it through a little bit, but like kind of changing 1 pound on a weight class just doesn't fucking make sense to me. But you change the other ones, so I get the balance and trying to make things like that. But as far as the weight changes and the effectiveness of it, Teague, you brought up a point of making the bracket, that weight class, a little deeper, a little more depth to it, right? What's another benefit to changing that? That's one benefit.
Yeah.
But I mean, what else do you gain? Go ahead.
So the more depth at the heavyweight is like what I brought up a little bit. So here's the thing, I guess, with some of those weight classes, like we're going to talk about the middle where I said like it can be really concentrated.
Yep.
Maybe it'll bring a little more balance in that sense. I don't know. Yeah. Like
I like the fact that they're bringing some of the college weights to our weight classes. I mean, 157, 165, all that stuff's college weights. So that I appreciate more of bringing that reality, I guess, to the forefront. And obviously high schools are different. You're bringing middle school kids into a high school, so you can't have just 125, you know, and go off from there because you're cutting off literally like the legs of 4 weight classes.
Yeah, but the old weights, why did they change up to the heavier ones before? Because before it was 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 52, 60.
Make kids bigger? Trying to get them bigger?
Yeah, but did that not work?
Why'd you take
now we're going back down.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like,
because kids are cutting too much probably. So they're trying to it's probably trying to not kill the kids, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm with Zach there in that I don't necessarily know what was wrong with the 2011 weight class.
Yeah, exactly. That's I
want to know why they changed those.
Yeah.
And what the data was then. Mm-hmm. Like, were people bigger?
To where we're at now, yeah.
And now they got smaller?
Yeah. They're cutting too much.
They got to fit in their skinny jeans?
And that's why I'm saying, where's 96 at? You know, like, where we're bringing all these little guys. And honestly, I thought 96 actually sounded viable just because look at how many small guys are coming into wrestling.
Yeah.
They're struggling to get to 106, you know, and they put the weight on but each person's different, you know, like each person grows different. Yeah. Haken Peterson, prime example. Man, is that kid small, right? Yeah. But obviously he knows that he's got to bulk up and he's got to do certain things to get to a certain weight.
He was wrestling 13 at juniors.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it's a weird mix and a balance. So yes, Teague, like you said, beyond our pay grade. But I'd love to see the voting points or like the reasoning points for the going forward with this. Like I've done some digging into rules. You're going to go. I've done some digging into rules.
I'll let you cook first.
Yeah. I've done some digging into rules, but I guess I haven't dug far enough to like find those like meeting minutes to like hear or see what the reasoning is, because it's not that I think that every single thing is wrong. I just want to know why, you know, without making a phone call. You know, but go ahead, T. Go ahead.
So I guess if I'm talking about the upper weights, kind of helping the overall product of the sport, and that you're going to see better guys with more depth in general.
Yeah.
I think if we're looking at those middle-ish weights between 44 and 75, so with the old weight classes, 45. F me. I was looking at the wrong thing. Never mind. Nope. Just ignore me. I was deleted. Something really dumb.
Deleted. So, we'll delete it. That's why I don't do live, Teague. You know? So I don't do live.
I've sounded dumb on live plenty of times. I'd be able to swallow it.
I've made an ass of myself.
Dude.
Way too many times.
I do it in person a lot all the time. Yeah. That's probably what people don't hang out with me too much. Well,
he had to have edited that if he didn't make an ass of himself.
Right. So Teague, as far as any changes to I don't know, I guess like rankings for do you look at rankings and like how it affects any of that stuff? Zach, I'll talk to you about it in a second.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I want to get Teague's take on it because you just brought up a match from like 2012, and I don't understand how you knew what the score was and everything by like the 30-second period here. So what do you think that this weight class change is going to bring as far as is this across the board? Is this at all high schools? Because it's NFHS, right?
So NFHS, I'll do my best to explain it because we've had a couple of coaches on from the Coaches Association that explain it. But if you're doing something like if you have a lot, like let's say Wisconsin said, screw NFHS, we want to keep our old weight classes.
Yep.
If you have your own system and you're not following the NFHS rules, you can't be a part of like the voting for like future NFHS stuff. Like you need to be aligned within their program if you want to be like a voting member of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of I'm kind of curious because we had WIA and then like PIAA stuff like that. So what? I guess so when it comes down to rules, things like that, everybody's agreed. We're going to go to these guys. These guys are going to, because we don't want to sit down and bicker with each other. We're just going to have one outside entity that does it. I get it. That makes way more sense to me because, I mean, could you imagine state to state trying to argue and figuring out, oh my God, it would never get figured out.
There's still a lot of states that do not follow NFHS.
That's what I want to ask though. So okay. So if we're in NFHS, we follow their rules.
Yeah,
okay.
They're always the first one.
Who doesn't?
Like Michigan.
So do we wrestle? I mean, how does that affect us as Wisconsin?
When you travel to Michigan, you have to go with their weights.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
And then
I thought it was bigger than that.
No, but then it is kind of with the. I
know what you're saying, but
the weight descent, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's why you would just never compete against them because you can't rely on things to be proper. But it's just weird that we.
Well, didn't Minnesota go to 13 weights?
So Minnesota went to 13, which means when you guys go to Minnesota,
you gotta go to their weights.
Some dude's not going to be in the starting lineup. Right. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well,
you guys want to hear something really funny about that?
Yes.
Is the Clash is hosted at the Lacrosse Center, but since it's like a Minnesota run tournament,
yep,
it's going to be Minnesota weights, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I didn't know they ran it at the Lacrosse Center. Was this the first year, or did they do it last year?
They did it last year. Last year was the first year, and then they did it again, and now I think they're just going to keep running with it.
So are we going to do the Christmas tournament though? Oh man, that's crazy. I wonder if that's going to change that up a little bit. Holy shit. Sure. That's crazy. I thought so. Okay. To me, it just seems weird that there's that many different entities that are involved in the hands or lack thereof entities in certain states. It just, it amazes me that we can have we compare all these other kids then to everybody else when they're not even competing in the same realm.
Right.
I mean, it is technically, but not.
Yeah.
You have some that do and some that don't. So to me, that's foreign. I don't believe that would be, but what I guess must have been a struggle then having everybody try to be a part of one thing because not everybody agrees with it.
I never really got it either. Cause why do we have to follow the rules, but we can't bring 7th and 8th
That's what
graders?
I'm saying.
We can't bring 7th and 8th graders there.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, that's another
weird,
discussion, but
this is weird.
It makes it doesn't seem sustainable to me. It doesn't seem like every state somewhere along the line can't get on the same board of what we're trying to do with sports and athletics in general. Cause it's gotta be all sports, right? NFHS isn't just wrestling. Yeah. That's all sports.
Zach, I might try to get an answer on that. Cause that's an interesting point that you bring up.
Yeah.
This is
the thing with these weight classes being different between Wisconsin and Minnesota is I feel like some of these teams might need to adjust their schedule. Maybe let me know if I'm making a bigger deal out of this than it actually is. But I think of a Superior. There's a lot of border schools that they mostly go to Minnesota tournaments.
Yes.
And a team that's contending in the postseason like Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Are you really going to want to keep going to a Minnesota heavy schedule?
Right.
When you want to know who your 14th guy is going to be?
Yeah. Unless you got some trick balance between our weights and their weights to be able to be like, no, we got this next week for sure.
This helps us. We should just go to Minnesota State.
Please, if that helps somebody, please send us information on how it helps. Because it's just odd to me how, again, separate entities are the ones that are really kind of controlling only a certain amount of schools and a certain amount of athletics. It's just kind of strange how we as a country are like, we'll be governed by someone if we feel like it.
Yeah.
Or not.
Also, I hope we get junior high inclusion at some point.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. I mean, obviously, you can tell that we have kids that are coming up at the 180-pound weight at 7th and 8th grade. Right. Like, come on, man. Get them some exposure, even if it's just JV.
Right.
Get them something.
Yeah.
Because then these kids are
going to a fucking tournament and getting 5 forfeits.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like these middle school matches that Liam had. And Liam was just, he wrestled differently, but some of the kids were new and all that other stuff, but that's the whole thing is those kids are new and they're at 180, 190 pounds. Who the fuck are they practicing against in the middle school room?
Yeah.
Coach?
Right.
Getting nothing out of it. But it's just, to me, it boggles my mind. It doesn't seem like it's balanceable. I don't understand how we can all just agree on that. Not all, but the people that are in here are like, yep, sounds good. Let's do it, and get along with it. But so Teague, let's talk a little bit what you've been doing. You've been doing some writing again. It sounds like you said something about a blog that he's chewing, folks. It's fine.
Sorry. Yeah. I got these, no free ads, but I guess I got these Jolly Rancher berry gummies. They're new.
Okay.
And they're pretty good, but they're tough to get down. I'm not going to eat these during a podcast again. That's for sure.
I bleeped out the name. We can't be advertising that dirty candy on our show.
Someone's going to be, if you bleeped it out, someone will be like, wow, Teague just said the most vile thing ever. Whatever he's eating.
Yeah. Whatever it is, dirty. Don't feed it to the kids. It's dick-shaped nerds, everybody. That's what it is. We swear on here, Teague. Remember, this is not a family show. This is an adult show.
I swore before you already.
You did.
Don't talk tough to me.
You said fuck. It was awesome. This is so cool. So hearing Teague say that word. And hey, I take it you said Steve is busy.
Yeah. He's I forgot what he's doing, but Steve, I just feel like there's sometimes I don't like feel like crap, and I'm like, gosh, Steve's like busy doing things all the time. Like, am I doing something wrong with my life or what?
No, you're not there yet.
But he's doing good busy things.
Yes.
Like he enjoys what he's doing.
You will get there. You will get. Don't rush to that point. You don't need. If you're calm and relaxed and you like, I don't really have much going on. Take advantage of that. Please do. You know how you can take advantage of that, Teague? By not having kids.
Fair. I'm doing great in that avenue, and I hope it keeps up.
Do it. Please keep it up.
So we can get into a deeper conversation here, and you guys can like maybe humble me on this or whatnot. But
okay.
So we did the sectional assignment podcast with Doug.
Yep.
With Doug Forsett, the North Fond du Lac coach. And
yep.
Dude, Doug is I'm plugging this for Doug if anything, but like he's a math whiz. He made like the enrollment spreadsheet where he lists all the teams in order by their enrollment and like has potential co-ops, has what he thinks the cut line's gonna be, all that stuff. And then the actual ones come out and he has to fix like 5 things on it. He just knows so much about everything that changes. And like, I'm a little bit of a geography nerd myself, so I just really feed off of it.
Yeah.
And like, we did the podcast with Doug. I got a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And I was thinking beforehand, I was like, some people like listening to podcasts, but some people also like reading stuff out. And I don't think I'm a bad writer. I think I'm good at putting my thoughts into words, like written down.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I guess I'll share more of my thoughts on this. And I also, full credit, like I give a lot of credit to Doug and Steve as well, because a lot of it's what I got from like what we talked about on the show.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, so that blog's going to be coming out. I think it'll be out by Wednesday. I'm just having it proofread right now, which I feel bad because it ended up being 22 pages on Google Docs. It's coming out in 3 parts.
Oh my God.
That'll be nice.
You have a spinning wheel? You have a spinning wheel on it? Is there a spinning wheel anywhere?
There is unfortunately not. No,
oh man.
That would have a fun little element, I guess.
Right. I was all in for the spinning wheel.
So what was I going to say with it? I just think, well, dude, sectional assignments are such a heated topic, and like I see the way some people argue it, and I'm like, man, what if people like had more information at their disposal where like they knew more about like why things happen, and like you can still be mad and like know about the process, but I just feel like it's nice for people to be more educated on it. And of course, like,
what's an example of an argument that someone made?
Oh, in regards to like where teams go, or like where they're placed, or like why is this team driving this far when they could be here or whatnot.
For sure.
I think like with like the map I made, I think it shows like how geographically sound the WIA is. And then B, what was I going to say with that? Like, I just think if you want to problem solve, you can look at the map I made and be like, all right, well, if I switch here, then I need to make a switch here, and yada, yada, yada. It weirdly makes me, there's things I disagree on. I talk about it in the blog.
Yeah.
But it really makes you appreciate what the WIA does. And
Yep.
maybe we'd talk about it on like a different episode, but I brought up the argument on the podcast where it's like, is there a way where you try to prognosticate how good teams are and you try to spread out who you think like the best 10 or 20 teams are, regardless of travel time?
Yeah.
But we'll digress from that because we could get way into that.
Let me talk a little bit about just a part of it, because I learned something about it that I had no clue about. Because I wasn't competitive in wrestling, and my brother was, but I was young then, so it's not like I was picking up WIA rules and how things are scored. So I learned that these schools can change based off of a scoring system, change divisions.
Yeah.
Based off of a scoring system. So if you took first 1 year, you get 4 points, or 3 points. You took second, you get so many points, right? So with that being said, I mean, obviously you have Fenimores and you have Luxembourg Cascos, right? And I brought up on your show with Chad, I said, hey, it'd be fun to have a Liam and Tristan match. And he's like, he'd be game for it. He'd be game for it, kind of thing like that. And he kind of brought up we want to get up to Division 1. He said he put the request in for it with Mel. And I said Kevin Black. It's Mel Dow. Sorry, Mel. I didn't mean to. I get names confused. So whatever. So with that being said, I asked a coach about this specifically and said, hey, Chad had brought up that they put in a request with Mel, seeing if they could be in Division 1. Now, with the changes being made, and I would say if you can look at a team's dominance and you see that they're just killing it, no matter where their demographic is, if they're just not able to lose to anybody in their area, is that reason enough to jump someone up to Division 1? Let's look at the teams you compete against. Doesn't have to be wrestling, could be basketball. And that's another fucking crazy thing to me, is that each sport can be in a different division within WIAA. Mm-hmm. I think that's crazy as shit. Yeah. But now I understand the reasoning behind it before I get derailed here. I get it. Someone explained it to me. I get it. It's fine. But with Chad saying that they requested to bump up to Division 1, I'm not against it, but I'm curious as to how these rules work now. There's a point system. Luxembourg Casco sounds like they have the opportunity. Was it after this year? Or
it's going to be implemented next year.
Next year. Well, they'll be able to bump up to Division 1.
Yeah, there's already 3 teams that have qualified, but Kaukauna can't go up. So
there's no place else to go.
Fenimore and Luxembourg, if it was implemented this year, would be going up in divisions.
But one. So Fenimore's Division 3 go to Division 2.
And then Luxembourg.
Has anybody ever made an exception for a team to go jump up 2 divisions? Has that ever happened before?
In Wisconsin? Not that I know of.
Maybe in a different sport that we're just not aware of. But I don't think I've ever heard of it in wrestling. So I'm interested to find out that with all of this changing up and, with these, and the weight changes don't have anything to do with it, but with these teams changing, does that open the door then? So these teams, let's say Fenimore gets up to Division 1 and it just doesn't pan out the way that it's supposed to. What happens then?
There's a 3-year thing, a rolling
there
score.
Is. Okay.
So like every year. So like if they won state, and then they get 0 next year, don't even make it. So they'll still be.
So you're never just like, you're going up, you can stay here forever. You're going to be here forever. No. They definitely evaluate who's.
Yeah, you have to earn your keep.
Okay, right. And that to me, that makes sense because again, I didn't even know about the point system as far as just from year to year. I had no clue about any of that.
Yeah. So if they won state like the last 2 years, right, and then they don't get anything this next year, they have 8 points in 3 years. Yep. I think it's 7 that you need.
They can jump up.
Yeah. But then if they get another 0 the next year, then they'd be going back down.
Okay. So it's like you gain those points, but you can definitely lose them by not producing.
Go down in 2 years just as quickly as you can go up in 2 years.
Okay. So that makes sense. So Fargo's new to me. Yeah. It's my first year going to Fargo. Right. So like it's all new. I found out that it's a very heavily what is it? People steal your shit.
Oh yeah.
Like Fargo, I guess, is one of the worst places for people to steal your shit if you've got your stuff down there. Because they said to me, or like, if you have stuff down on the floor, make sure it all fits in your bag. If you can't fit it all in your bag, give it to someone, or make sure that you don't bring it along.
Yeah, you'll find it on the market.
That is crazy.
Like, hey, there's my shoes.
That's my shit right in the pile of stuff there.
It says ZP on the tongue.
Have you been to Fargo before, Teague?
I have not. I need to make my way out there one of these days.
Yeah. You're not going this year? I'll take you with.
We'll do a live podcast. We'll drive out.
That's what I'm saying. Kid can't stay in the hotel room with me. So it's one of those things. They're doing the team thing. So might as well just do a show. Might as well produce something out of it. But
was it July 17th?
They leave on the 14th. It's the 16th through the 20th, I think, is freestyle.
Juniors is 17th.
16th through the 19th. Yeah. We leave on the 20th. Coming back on that day.
You guys suck. It used to be Greco first. Like, now you guys.
I thought it was. When I looked at the schedule, I was kind of like looking at it begrudgingly. I'm like, fucking Greco's first, man.
No, it used to be Greco first. And then.
Don't punch me, Lucas.
And then freestyle back when I did it.
Yeah.
They changed that a couple of years back, I think.
I'm all about, and I'll say this time and time again, I'm all about watching Greco, but I don't want it to interfere with what I got going on. I love Greco. I love watching it. I love talking to these guys about Greco too, but it's like, if it's part of the tournament that my kid's going to be in, can you move it along a little faster? Can you make some room for...
He doesn't Greco, huh?
No, he doesn't. Just make room for the leg grabbers. It'd be great. But so with that being said, Teague, what do you have? You did a blog and you're getting it. Do you like writing? Are you enjoying it?
I love it. I think like I kind of want to like put out there. I was like, is there anything else people would want me to write about or whatnot?
Yeah.
And, Even Steve asked me, so like, hate to break the bad news. Just now that I'm like working a full-time job during this, like last year I was between jobs when I did like Ultimate Team Day and Podium Winter Palooza.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be happening this year, which fans of hypothetical wrestling are gonna be upset by that.
What, dude?
I know we can't crown Kikwana as the Ultimate Team State champion.
Son of a, I'll just do it anyways.
But like Steve asked me a really fun question the other day where he was like, hey, if you think all the Waukesha teams were a team, how do you think they would do on the team state level? And I was like, wow, that'd be a really fun project to dive into and like write about and be like, hey, like Waukesha's gotten a lot better. I'm like, yeah, that could be. So I might start throwing stuff out there like, hey, what's some stuff people would want me to write about?
Hell yeah, dude.
So yeah, I really enjoy it. So
well, that's good.
I guess the point, I know we talked about like free content versus premium and whatnot on this show before.
You beat that like a dead horse.
I don't want to say I've changed my tune a little bit, but I have some perspective on it now.
Sure. Yeah.
Or like a more perspective on it, I would say.
Yep.
So I texted Jake like about the blog, how it's almost going to be done or when it was going to be done or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know we had the talk about like, I want like most of our stuff besides like streaming to be free or whatnot.
Yeah.
And he just said like, hey, just like, we're going to make this one a premium one. Because of, like the time you put in and like the research put in and whatnot.
I agree.
And honestly,
I agree.
I was 8 hours into like typing and I was halfway done.
Yep.
And it just clicked in my head where I was like,
yes,
I put a lot of fucking work into this. Like that makes total sense.
Yes.
Like
wholeheartedly agree.
And like, I know it hurts. Like I have a couple like pals who they'll ask me for my Rockfin stuff, like to look at streams or articles. I'm like, guys, this is kind of like my gig. Like this is kind of like, would you ask me to like paint your house for free? Or like, obviously that's two different things, but like
that's work. So that's what we talked about.
It brings me to this point, I guess, where now that I have something out there that's like premium content that's on my name, and like I'm saying on the show, like I totally agree to it because I know I put the work in it, and I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the value. Not only that, like you get a lot of other stuff with it. So it's one of those deals. Like I think it's knowing your worth, and just I'm totally okay with it being premium.
Yep.
And it just makes me think, because I saw someone comment on Facebook the other day where they're like, oh, well, I can't watch it because like I'm refusing to pay for Rockfin. And if you don't want to pay for it, if you don't like, if you don't want to like read the stuff or watch the stuff,
right, that's
totally okay. That's your choice. But like, don't make that your personality trait.
Yeah.
Like, is that really the hill you're gonna die on? Like, like Jake and Nate, whatever people agree or like whatever they don't like the cover or whatnot, or like what people think they don't like the cover if they don't agree with them. Like you can't argue that they put in a shit ton of time.
Yes.
And I've just learned that over the past few months.
Yep.
So
yep.
Yeah, it makes sense why stuff is premium. And now that like I dip my toe into it, I can totally see it.
Yep. So that is like you discussed, like you said, what you did is work.
I guess that's my soapbox on that.
Well, it is, but you put work in. So you did research. You had to go to websites. You had to check stuff out. You had to make sure what you're putting down is correct. I mean, you're doing writing. People get paid as writers to newspapers. You're writing. You're putting your thoughts down. Number one, you're not just doing the research, but you're typing. You said you're 8 hours in and halfway done. That's time. Okay. So to me, rankings, okay, and this is kind of how we put it before. It's not that rankings isn't work, but you're literally taking things that they've already done. They did the work for you. You're just grabbing those numbers and putting them in somewhere, right? To me, is it an effort? Wholeheartedly. It's an effort, right? You're putting work into it. They did the work though. You're just putting it out there for people to see. And then you're putting, this is what I think of them. Okay. Yeah. That's an opinion. To me, that's it's not an opinion piece, but it's an opinion based off of numbers, right? Because you still had to get the information from somebody, things like that. So writing a blog to me, or the events, because we spoke about that as well, the events that they do, that's fucking sweaty work. Like you're putting work in and you're doing something. To me, blogging and I wanted to be an English major, so writing takes some effort. You know, it takes, in order to put paragraphs and for things to make sense. Sometimes I'm fucking talking and I don't even make sense. Yeah. But to be able to write and put it together and make sense, and people are like, hey, I really like reading that. That's content to me. That's payable. That's tangible for me to say I would pay for that. When I look at rankings, it's kind of like what the parents are saying. Like, so all the kids did all the work, and you're just putting it out there and telling them that they're worth this.
Yeah.
It's, to me, that's not exclusive content. I could have done that. We all could have done it. We all could have done a blog, but to me, you're putting more emotion and you're putting more thought. You're putting thought behind blogs.
You're putting yourself out there more.
Correct. You're putting your personality and you're putting your persona, I guess, for lack of a better term, out there. Right. So that is content.
So I'm glad you bring up the events thing, because it also, my blog, like, I have a little synopsis at the start where I literally show all the resources I use and people can click on it and go to it.
Good.
And you can get like all the information you want for like, you can click on that synopsis and like click on all those resources and stuff for free.
Yeah.
But if you want someone who like put in the work and whatnot, like if you want to read that article, even if you just want to read that article and pay $15 one time, like that's shit, that'd be a really huge compliment. I don't expect that to like happen, but
I totally agree.
So like, there's like the free part where it's like, yeah, I can do my research or I can like look at this stuff. But then like there's the little extra thing for paying. Thinking about streaming, like you've looked at my streams, like the video quality's not great. WI Wrestle streams like are way better than mine, I would say, like quality wise.
I hope so. Hager's got good equipment.
Because people are paying for the product, right?
Right,
like,
right. And Hager rents out really good equipment. But as far as but you're putting your emotions down. You're putting your thoughts within your brain, your emotions down in that paper. And granted, you're not maybe emotions, not crying or anything like that, but you're putting out something that your opinion, and people respect your opinion, number one, because you've been doing it for how long, and you have a fucking memory like a steel trap. Like, I can't believe half of the shit you can remember, because I think I forgot what I ate for dinner last night, and that happens a lot. So that offends my wife quite a bit. But either way, when you put something on like that, I can appreciate paying for something like that. And I wanted to talk about this because I was all Mr. Not Pay for shit, right? I still am. But there is an option now on Buzzsprout where you can leave a donation.
Yeah.
I'm all about a donation.
Yeah.
And again, I've told people, like, I don't get paid to do any of this. Everything that's done, clothing that I get, all this stuff is out of my pocket. And I'm doing it because I love doing this stuff, doing and talking to my new employer, telling them, I like sales. I like talking to people. I like creating relationships with people and getting to know other people. And I wasn't like that before. I grew up in a very sheltered and stick to yourself kind of attitude. Now, when I come home, do I stick to myself? Hell yeah, I stick to myself. But when I go out, I still enjoy talking to people, and I can select. I have no issues with selecting who I talk to in public. I have no problems with that. If I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to waste my time. But I'm also not going to, I'm not that dude that's going to be like, please buy my content. Please spend your money. I want people to decide that on their own, essentially. Because if we're all going to be about this, you get the freedom to make your own choice. I get the freedom to make my own choice. Yeah. Just like with it, we bitched about it because we thought it was crazy, or we just griped about something. But if someone wants to buy it. Go for it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But I got to the point, like on Facebook, like I told the other person the other day, wow, it's really cool to have all these armchair public servants fucking sitting around talking about how things suck in town.
Yeah.
Do something about it, know? Well, this is the place to go and do it and complain about it. It is a place to be able to kind of discuss ideas, but to sit there and rail on a dude or a city council for 4 days straight because you're pissed off about the bridge not going up and down, and now the library sucks because we spent so much money on it. Shut up. Go somewhere else. Yeah. Like, I don't, and I get intrigued to point out some of the things that you do learn from blogging is you grow. When you write things, you find things out about yourself when you're writing things, and you grow from that. And I think doing this helps me, whereas writing would frustrate me because I would want to, I can't put that in there, deleting stuff, and
can't write it all.
I can't go back from this. This is once it's out.
The one thing I learned right away is like, when I did that first article and I saw like my team sectional preview article was like 3 times, because Rockfin shows you like the read time, right? Yes. And I'm like, I'm like, oh shit, like my article has a really long read time.
Yeah.
And then like like obviously I got made fun of for like the Iowa Grant pick or whatnot, but like no one said anything bad about it, which is a huge win in this industry, right?
Nope, exactly.
And then I did the sectional one, and that one was way long. I did all the weight classes and stuff, and like the one thing I've learned to stop doing with myself, and like you've heard me on the show, like my brain just kind of works and run on thoughts.
Yeah,
and I like to. If you don't get all your thoughts out there, like then you really aren't giving your full picture.
Then you're riddled with regret.
So yeah, I put that whole sectional out there, and I'm like, mine's way longer again. Like I hope people like don't get disinterested. And then I got a lot of compliments on how in depth it was, and I'm starting to learn. I'm like, it doesn't. You can make an article 2 hours long to read if it's good. People are gonna take the time to read through it.
They will, and that's to me that's the biggest thing is not restricting yourself. You know, like when you're blogging is supposed to be just your mental thoughts. And you're putting them down, and obviously you try to put them in some type of order, but they're mental thoughts, and you're able to get those out. And being able to get those out, not just being on YouTube talking to a coach or whatever, because you're very restricted. You know, and I know you guys try to keep things, and you're not. I'm not structured at all. I know you guys try to have some things that you want to talk about and things like that, and so you're very confined. When you're blogging, you shouldn't be confined. You know, like you shouldn't be. And I know that Nate knows. Well, don't mind my bass playing here with my springs, but don't. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm going to say this on air. Do not get restricted. And obviously, we know you're not going to be going on right now. Fuck this guy and blah blah blah. This coach sucks. Don't restrict yourself though. Don't allow restrictions to be put on either. You know what your audience is, and you know what your realm is, and what to keep it in. Explore the space with it. You know, just be one. And honestly, it sounds really zen. Be one with yourself with it, because writing's important. Like I've been trying to tell Liam how it's important to diary, right? Because with athletes, you don't have a lot of people to talk to about certain things, especially at a high level. So if you can't get that stuff out and you can't put it somewhere for you to visually see it or even hear it or whatever, because who's going to voice record and then listen to themselves? That sounds kind of crazy. Maybe I'll try that. But you got to, when you're writing it out, that has to be the truest form. Has to be. You know, you know, you check spell and all, you check your abbreviation, but that has to be the truest form, because speaking is one thing. You can be a car salesman when you're talking, right? But you can't be a car salesman when you're writing. People can smell that shit even thicker when you're writing it than when you're talking.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's stay as true as possible to that. And I'll read every one. I don't care when it says 1 minute read, it's probably 5 for me, but I don't care how long it is. If it's something like I told you before, you know, if it catches me, I'm going to read the whole thing. But I might read one
also,
that I disagree.
I'm glad we had this like philosophical discussion, and then John from Bumbleville is going to say like this article sucks, and I'm going to be sad about it for like 5 minutes. But
you got to have those guys that bring it back to reality, right?
Oh,
yeah. Keep you humble a little bit.
Well, I just wasted 2 hours.
So, but Zach, you've been doing blogging.
That's my wife, though.
Little things, but still, it's on there. I mean, you read it. I mean, it's got to be something that you're down with.
Well, and it was so another fun thing with like this was, dude, I love Steve. I can't like emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
He brought up like he's like, we should do like way too early like team sectional qualifier picks.
Yeah.
And like right away, like I think even in my tone, I was like, I don't know, man. And like, you guys know me, if I'm not well educated on something, I don't want to like voice my opinion on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm feeling a little skeptical. And like, of course I ended up cheating a little bit. I caught myself looking at like old regional results while we were like going through the podcast. But then like, I was putting out the picks and like, we were just having fun with it. And like, it was so funny because I saw some of the teams we chose were last in their regional this year and whatnot. I'm like, well, A, whoever cares about the way too early picks, like that's whatever. B, like it was fun to do. Like it gives people something to talk about and look forward to. And like, I think everyone understands like, there's going to be a lot more research put into it. Like once we actually like get into the fall. So I worry too much about what other people think if you can't tell.
Stop doing that. Stop giving a shit about what other people think. So and to me, that's the biggest thing in what, especially with what we do with like content creators or, you know, media content, whatever it is, the rankings, anything that you're doing with this stuff is the moment that you care about what people think, stop doing it. I had John Zielinski run into me at a tournament, and he goes, I know you don't care about what people say or think, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I can't remember what he brought to me. And I looked at him, I was like, John, I don't care about what people think when they're trying to change my mind. That's when, especially when they're trying to force it. If someone wants to talk about something, I'm all ears. I can think outside the box and be just as open-minded as the next guy. But when you're that dude that's coming in and be like, we got to do it like this because I said so, and blah, 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 blah. I want to hear reasons.
Yeah.
Because I sucked at coming up with reasons before, and now it's like it's expected as an adult to have a reason for why you want to do something, right? You have to show your work when you do math, right? I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
So I totally told him, I said it, John, you come up to me any point, anytime, anywhere. I don't care. You tell me what you think. You bring it up to me because and he did it respectfully, and he did it, but he did it, I guess you'd call it passionately, because he believed in what he was telling me. That's what I like. That's what I want from people that either listen to a show or even listen to you guys, and they want to talk to me about the show. Did you hear this? I don't remember what you said on your show with this guy, but I heard Teague and those guys. I want to hear all that stuff, and I want to hear their opinion about things, because I mean, not only just because we do the same thing, but then you get a perspective of what you're doing and what people want to hear or not hear, kind of thing. It's not that you care about it, but you can at least curtail things just a little bit more, just to know that, okay, this guy's paying attention. He didn't like something, and he brought it to me instead of going on social media and bitching about it on some other page to someone else that can't do anything about it. Let the people know that are doing it know about it. Don't just put a post on Facebook or on Instagram. And I've learned how to hit delete so much as I've gotten older, man. Because it's not. I'm typing something. Oh, I'm so pissed off. I'm typing delete. It's not even worth it, because this is going to go on for a half hour, and I'm going to look like a retard. So I try to make sure that I don't care enough about what people think, but I also do care about the people who care what they think, and that's a big difference of liking someone because they're a big name up in something versus someone who actually just has a really good idea, or they're passionate about something that they think, and going with it that way. I think there's a big difference. And I think we get lost in a lot of the things that we have in front of us as parents around coaches, or coaches around parents, that you don't have to change the world. You just need to change an opinion once in a while. And that's all you're looking to change. You don't need to change your life. So I think we miss that a lot, and I think that's gotten lost in politics. And I'm not even going to get into politics, because that's just a whole fucking another disaster.
No, actually, I brought a list of political things to talk about if we want it. No.
Well, you and I can do that alone, because I'm pretty sure Zach's not hanging out for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, Zach, my 30-minute personal plug is done. So your 30-minute window starts now. What are you up to this summer?
What the fuck you been up to, man?
I'm just
chasing soccer balls and shit.
Soccer. Yeah, a lot of soccer.
I started playing soccer again.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look who's here with his shirt off.
It's not me.
So. Come on, Liam. No one but us can see. You can come over here. Teague hasn't seen you in a while. There he is.
What up, Liam? Can he hear me?
No, he's got his own headphones on. See that?
I almost took down Jagger.
Oh yeah, he said nice little practice today at the high school. Jagger was there, Mr. Minnesota.
We got to get a Pokemon draft in at some point.
I've been waiting, dude. I don't know what you like. I'm waiting. I've been here.
Pokemon draft. Hey, you got plenty of time right now. Pokemon draft.
You've been excited. Well, right now I got to get so here's what I was thinking. No, actually, no, we'll talk about this off air, because I know Zach's got some things going right now.
That's fine, man.
Zach, I do like that you got your grade rankings out.
Yeah, I got them out.
Grade rankings. So how stressful was that?
Not really bad. I reached out to a lot of people on Instagram instead of just guessing if they were freshmen, going to be freshmen like I did last year. So I actually
I helped a little bit with that.
Yeah, and then I got a couple of red shirts that informed me, that they were not going to be freshmen. They were going to redo 8th grade. So
red shirts.
Yeah.
This is getting worse.
They didn't
and
call
worse.
it red shirts, but
I know. I can only guess who it is too. This is it's getting worse.
I'm gonna go shower.
So so here's this goes along with the weight class, cutting weight, things like that. This whole dropping a grade and holding back a grade.
Yeah. It happened a lot in Indiana.
Yeah, but you guys had apartments down there where you housed the kids in that moved and shit. So you guys have a whole different venue. I actually, someone I know is that could actually pull that off right now.
Yeah.
He's a coach and his brother's a realtor.
Oh, yeah.
That kid, I was like, man, you guys have an opportunity of a lifetime. But anyways, right. Teague, back to my point. I'm talking about kids dropping instead of going to be a freshman, staying in 8th grade. Okay? How long has that been a disease in this state?
I don't know. Has it been a disease in this state?
I think it's really kind of fresh for us. Yeah, I feel like it's not as bad kind of thing. I turned my headphones way up so Liam could hear us blaring my ears out. But so we all know Bo Bassett was held back.
Yeah.
Some people have he was a wrestler, but he wasn't going to be that big yet. So, I mean, okay, I get the kid that's going to be 80 pounds his freshman year. I get that. You're holding him back. I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you gaining out of holding your kid back when he's still competitive and can do everything that is expected of him and more, maybe?
Yeah.
Why are you holding them back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they academically stay back in 8th grade too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They redo the whole grade.
They homeschool. Most of them do.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, they homeschool and they go to wrestling.
So they purchase that curriculum for a year.
Yeah.
And just so their kid could stay.
See, we always used to just say he's not mature enough to go to high school. Yeah. Is what the people used to say in Indiana, and that was you just homeschooled them for a year and they just wrestled all year.
Unless I see your kid take a Rorschach test and is an axe murderer and you want to keep him home, or again the size thing. I get it. You know, your kid's a wrestler. Okay, I can kind of wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
Is it cheesy? A little bit, but yeah, he is small. But now you have a kid that's like Bo Bassett. Maybe he was going to be small, they live in a different. Well. But I'm going to put him in our state in the way that our state works. Yeah. It makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. And I really, if anybody tells me that they're doing that with their kid and they have no reason to do it, I can't support you. I can't say that I disrespect you because I understand what you're trying to do and I get the end goal, but I can't support you.
Yeah.
I really don't have any sympathy towards that either. You know, I don't, to me, it seems like it's illegal. It seems like you're breaking a law. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're giving your kid now a beefcake, I guess, advantage of having that one more year of staying back where he's a little bit older now.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about maturity. And now what about when that kid blooms in his junior year?
Right.
Who's to say he wasn't going to have that his freshman year if he just stayed a true freshman?
Yeah.
It's almost like parents understand like how their kid's DNA strand works.
Yeah.
And like how everything's just going to pop out and just be perfect the way that they think it's going to be.
Yeah, I could have been held back twice. I graduated when I was 17, so I mean technically I could have still competed for 2 more years.
How much did you weigh your freshman year?
Freshman year, I wrestled 189.
See, that's what I'm fucking.
Oh, there was never even a
someone in your position would have gotten held back somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Easily.
Maybe.
At that big.
Yeah.
And then just looking at that kid just crushing it. And that's the thing is like it almost promotes this crushing all the competition based off of nothing other than your parents holding you back so you could be a 30-year-old senior.
Yeah, and then you don't go out of the state and actually wrestle your age group. You just stay in
you stay in your demographic. Yeah. You're not even like branching out. You're just like, I'm gonna crush Wisconsin. Like, holy cow, okay, Hulk, go for it. But I can't support.
I know
it.
Everyone has a different social experience, like growing up.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't imagine doing that and then not graduating or spending a lot of my high school time like with my core friend group,
right?
Or like the entire formative years of my life.
How damaging!
Oh yeah, there's a lot of.
I'm not saying you're gonna
sacrifices that the kids have to make too.
I'm not saying you're going to see a psychologist because of it, but I mean, let's think about it. And I think. I don't remember. I know, like, because out in California, our cousins out there. One of them's super good at football, really, really good at football. I think he's going to Notre Dame High School out there, one of the top high schools in California. His little brother is a track star. I mean, the kid, he's fast.
Yeah, and
as far as I know, I think every kid that's gone to this Notre Dame high school has done that, has been held back.
Oh, really?
I think.
Yeah.
Not hand to God. I'm not going to put my hand in the Bible on it.
Majority of them.
Majority.
Yeah.
And that's just word of mouth hearing from other people. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that high school. Holy shit. So when it comes down to it, we don't have like what other high schools have, where like Neenah High School could have had a brand new soccer field with turf, but they wouldn't do it because Adidas wanted their logo on it. You put your all over the field. If you're going to give me that field, I'll tattoo that logo on my forehead. I don't care. You know, that kind of thing. Like
they're not paying for it. The tax dollars are paying for it.
But either way, it's like, there's this affiliation that we have in this state where where we're always doing the things that are the best for the kids. You know, as far as what sports are and athletics and things like that, which, okay, for the most part, yes, I think that they are trying to do things for the kids, but they have to make money too. Right. At some point, we have to understand that, you know, why don't you just let your kid be who they are? And because high level athletics has picked up so much, especially in this state now, I think it's going to become a cancer.
Oh yeah.
And I hate it. I really hate it. I think it's terrible. And I don't think that those kids deserve to be held back socially. I think it's not psychologically damaging to the point where they're going to become axe murderers, right. But it's psychologically damaging to the point where they're like, well, you know, my friend just graduated high school and he's over in North Dakota, and now I'm going to be stuck here for another year because my parents thought I was going to win Pee Wee State. You know, like, come on, man. Like that's again, the parent thing. Like, we cannot hammer home enough, like the damage you're doing to your kids just because you think, well, Jimmy's going to get a full ride if we hold him back another year and he'll be able to get on that football team. Like, no, you fucking ain't.
Yeah.
You know, I think parents read into too many articles of these big kids, these anomalies is the word that I don't use enough. These anomalies that are out there and everybody thinks that their kid can be that. Yeah. Did I think that at one point? Sure. I thought Liam could have been the next Spencer Lee.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. I had confidence in him as I'm his dad, you know, that kind of thing. But then in the reality of things, when you start kind of looking at how other things are, and Jamie Nelson's helped me realize a lot of that stuff. Like 1% of these guys win a national championship. How many weight classes are there? 10. Right. Out of how many kids out of all these schools in the entire country, your kid's most likely not going to become an NCAA champion. All-American? Sure. Now that gap widens a little more, you know, so that perspective kind of adds up a little bit more, and you kind of have more of appreciation of what really is going on in front of the kids themselves. And now I was a weird dad taking Liam. We go to, you know, Virginia Beach. We go to Iowa. We go to Colorado. You know, everywhere. We're going all over the place. But that was to prepare him for him to be ready by himself, so I can let go. Because I think we dropped the helicopter parent term. And I think it's been changed to something else. There's a different term for it now.
Is that offensive or something?
No, it's a different type, because it's a different type of like hovering. Oh, it's not just
like a drone.
No, right. It's not just it's like a bubble parent or something like that. It's called, because we're like encompassing our kids so they don't get hurt. Okay. You're not standing over the top of them, make sure they get hurt and like doing this. Now you're like fucking holding them in. Like, oh no, don't hurt my Johnny. You know, like. Yeah. Johnny's got to fall on his face, man.
We can't talk about my one little blog for 30 minutes without me mentioning. Yeah, I've been perusing your website. Zach's also in the blog game. I don't know why I didn't say anything on here. But no.
I did. It's wife. His wife. Yeah, his wife does it.
Oh, it was Christina. I'm so sorry.
No, my wife.
His wife.
My wife, not his wife.
Zach's wife. His wife, Melissa.
Zach's
yeah.
Yeah, she writes.
Yeah, she's a.
I ironically was looking at the website while you brought that up. So,
okay. Well, because I asked him, I know
that's a plug in itself.
Oh, yeah. So you guys are coming out with these little squares of wisdom all the time, and I'm like, what the fuck is Zach doing?
Like she puts them on the website, and
Zach's getting all zen on me and shit, and like thinking deep thoughts about sports.
It is not me.
So is your wife then, Zach, the one who headlined this one? Why rankings are more than bullshit lists from washed up fat guys?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes, she did. Well, it's also from Ted.
Ted Skiba, yeah, it's kind of a quote from Ted. Yeah, but still, it is more than just fat white guys sitting around.
Yeah,
look at us. I lost 60 pounds. Right. I'm not fat.
Right.
All right, Ted.
You're old though.
I'm old, and I'm white. And I'm dried up, but I'm not fat. But it's Teague. Did I tell you I started playing soccer?
Yeah. Did you hurt yourself?
Oh my God, I pulled my hamstring really bad. Super bad. So I practiced with Liam out at the Kakana field, went fine. Kicking the ball around, shooting some goals like it was nothing. I knew it was gonna be a little sore just because I'm old. And then I went to the game, first game, and I went to go take my nice little roundup kick in the 18-yard box. And I could have swore my crotch fell out of my body with as much pain that I felt in my right hamstring. Oh my God. I never pulled my hamstring in soccer in my entire life. I've been playing soccer since I was 4. I'm 45. I've never pulled my hamstring. I fell to the ground after that kick, and I tried to hide it as best I could. I was like, I fell, I went, just kind of hold my leg, and then I got up and we're like, uh-oh, you're hurt too now, aren't you? Because like 4 guys got hurt the first week of soccer.
Yeah.
We're all these old washed up dudes just playing sports, but we love the sport. We love soccer. I didn't realize, Teague, however, when you pull a muscle like that your entire leg will turn black, blue, orange, purple, whatever color it is that it turns. My entire thigh, whole bottom of my thigh was black and blue.
Oh yeah.
Whole thing. So my leg, when I did it,
that bruising gets you.
Yeah. Holy man! I didn't know it until we went swimming. Then Christina was like, she goes, "What's wrong with your leg?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh my God!" I like had to step back from my own leg for a second, and it was the whole bottom of it. I thought it looked like I got kicked by the Hulk, you know, but I didn't. I kicked a ball. That's all I did, and I completely destroyed my leg. I didn't score any goals. I got a couple nice passes. I was winded, but all in all, I pulled my hamstring.
Nice.
I'm doing all right. I'm fine. I don't need the thank you card or any get well cards or anything like that. I don't need any of that. So save your cards, guys.
Have a cane walking down the stairs though.
I put that away a week ago. I can make it up and down the stairs now.
Oh jeez.
But so Zach, with what you've been doing though, you said there's just been a little hiccup with stuff that you've been trying. The information didn't cross over.
Oh yeah, we changed platforms, and I did career records last year for my preseason.
Yeah.
I'm doing it again, but I had them all, and then I lost them, so now I got to redo them.
Sucks.
So it's taking me a little longer. I'm trying to get them out before Fargo.
Yeah.
I'll have preseason out before Fargo, and then I'll update those probably late August.
See, guys, that's why I don't do this shit. That's why I don't do rankings and all the numbers. And so, like, the job I have now, there's all kinds of Excel.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's formulas.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm working in.
Are you?
Right now, yeah.
In Excel?
Yeah.
Are you trying to build formulas to add and, like, calculate things together?
Yeah.
Or are you?
Yeah. So
I know a little bit of that.
Do all the math. Like, I can just put it in there.
Yeah.
Into the cell, and then spits it out, yeah. And I know a little bit about the Excel stuff, but Teague, do you deal with Excel? Hey, speaking of Excel, is that how you built that spinning wheel? Was that an Excel
No, that's
feature?
just a website called spinthewheel.com.
Boom, boom. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's
just a website?
I'm pretty sure I just typed in like spinning wheel or some shit.
That's awesome.
There it is.
I mean,
that's
fucking
fucking
dude. Giveaways and stuff.
That's
you know?
right.
So, like,
that's awesome. Well done, Teague.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Steve and I were talking about the simplicity of like the internet nowadays, because he was like, "Yeah, I need to figure out when we need to start our dates, like when wrestling's 100 days away or whatnot."
Yeah, countdown.
And I told Steve, I said, "Steve, I figured this out like a month or two ago. I forgot what I was using it for, but you can literally just type in on Google.
Yes,
I can say how many days away is December 20th on Google, and it'll tell me." Or how many days between November 18th and August 20th, 2027. And it tells you. And I think it all comes from what'sthedate.com is the top link.
Yeah.
But any question you want to type in, it'll pop up on Google, man.
That's awesome.
Way better than Ask Jeeves was back in the day or whatever.
Ask Jeeves. Yeah. I ask Google a lot, and that's a funny thing about the whole kids being held back is like, can't because of stupidity. These kids can Google anything they want now and find anything they want to.
They can never tell a lie in a bar. They're never going to be able to do that.
Ever. Never, ever. Never.
You said you placed here at this tournament? No, you didn't.
Lie. Look at there's you losing right there.
I can pull a video of it. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, you suck. You're just afraid to admit it. That's all it is. But well, Teague, what do you have coming up? Let's plug some stuff here that you got coming up. Future.
So if you guys didn't catch it, I have a blog coming out in the next couple of days.
Not blogging. What do you got? What do you got for podcast coming up?
We got the Holman girls coaches coming on.
Okay.
Just to talk about the Holman girls program, of course. And one of them's been with the program the whole time. I coach with her. So
really?
I can actually talk about some stuff too. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
And then we're not doing anything during Fargo. We're going to let the Fargo guys get their run.
Yeah.
And then we're for sure going to have Olsen Blanchard on.
Okay.
We're going to have Shane Kennelly on, the Brian Stratton coach.
Oh.
And we're going to look to get Craig Underwood on from Marathon.
Okay. And
then that will damn near take us to sectional previews, which I don't want to totally think about right now, but yeah.
Kind of gotta. Zach, what do you got coming up for the future?
Like I said, I'm just working on rankings till the season starts and trying to. You can tell me, you can send me messages, whatever weight you're going to start at.
Yeah.
If you think it's wrong.
Yeah.
Or, like obviously once they come out, you can tell me I'm an idiot and you grew pounds past that. But I'm
going to tell you this much right now. I've gotten contacted by 5 different college coaches.
Yeah.
Over the course of the off season into the summer, asking for numbers, guys' information, things like that. They've brought, each one of them has brought up your rankings.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Right.
I think because they don't, number one, they don't know how to pronounce it. They're like, you know who the Wisconsin is it grappling or the grappler? It's Wisconsin grappler.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. Do you know that guy? And I was like, yeah, I know him well. And they're like, well, we like, is he going to be putting, I think they're asking because the information you're trying to put out as far as like the overall and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, what is he going to be putting more out? I said, well, he's actually trying to put way more.
Yeah.
He's trying to put GPAs and things like that. Yeah. They're like, perfect. Cause we've been looking at his rankings and we look at his a lot. And I said, well, that's good. Cause probably the best in the state.
Yeah.
But as far as rankings go, I still bring up, there's these other guys that are in the state that know may know some of the other guys better as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of what the balance is just some guys know other guys better than the other ones.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where the difference in rankings probably comes in too a little bit. Just kind of, well, I saw this guy do this and they probably just watch the guy a little bit more and don't know the other guy as much as maybe you do.
Right.
So boil it down that way. Sometimes when you look at numbers though, and just where they put guys, like, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, really? And I still have to go through yours because there have been a couple that I saw of yours, and you and I argue about it back and forth. But it's fun to do that because it's fun to do it with guys who are receptive to it. Because I'm not telling you that you suck at what you do. Right. I'm just saying, hey, why is this guy right here?
Yeah,
this is weird. I don't get this one. What was your reasoning? And then you tell me, I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think it's kind of dumb. This guy should be here. Right. You're like, well, I don't care because that's what I did, and that's where I'm putting him. Yeah, so,
that's kind of the formula.
It's pretty simple. So you got that going on. I've got, what do I got going on? Let's see. Shane Gantz, I talked to him. Shane Gantz is going to be coming on pretty soon. That was one that was supposed to happen. It just didn't, and he got tournament time came around, things like that. So, and then I have Frank Jasper coming back on the 6th. Nice. I am talking to a guy from Estonia tomorrow morning because it'll be afternoon there. It's probably morning there right now. Christian Press. He is actually the guy that ran Team Inglas when Liam went over, and he still does. He actually works a lot with Maja. He brings a group over from Estonia quite a bit over to Maja. They run a camp over there with those guys, and then vice versa. And that's where the communication and kind of the connections come with those guys. So I'm going to be talking to him because his club is actually one of the most successful in Estonia. Okay. So we're going to have him on tomorrow morning on the 4th of July. And then... who do I have after that? I think Frank Jasper is after him, but then I got a couple other ones lined up. But you know what's funny? I keep talking about Mark Schultz. I've talked about it a couple times on some of the live feeds I've done. I look like kind of an idiot. He's really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah. So
he's all over on Twitter, right? And then he makes these posts. He'll make a random post on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'll message him. He's like, yeah. He goes, but I'm over on here more, on Twitter. And so I'm okay. So I message him over there and he's like, yeah, what do you want to do? I'm like, hey, I'm available these times. And also I don't hear from him for like 3-4 days. Yeah. Then he messages me like, hey, when are you good to go? And I'm like, hey, I'm ready. I got these days. And he's like, yeah, this sounds good. Let's figure out this day. And then I don't hear from him for like 3 or 4 days. So Mark's a unique individual. Yeah. Mark has been through a lot. So like talking to him and I've talked about the old episodes and putting those up, but I might put a couple of those up and put the one with him up because that was a 2-parter.
Oh yeah.
I think that was 3 hours. man, the guy's got stories.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I got going on coming up. And then I'll discuss this but the Wrestle Inc.
Wrestle Inc.
Wrestle Inc. So nobody gets confused by this. It's Wrestle Inc. It looks like WI Wrestle. It's not WI Wrestle. Wrestle Inc. is WI. Okay.
Yeah.
Wrestle Inc. The vision is real. Okay. So the quick synopsis of what it's supposed to be and what it's going to be. It's going to be
let's go. I've been waiting for this drop.
It's meant to be a conglomerate of people getting together, right? Of like minds, like ideas of what we're trying to do, content and media wise. It's not a conglomerate to come together to make more money, right? That's not the point. The point is to get guys who are kind of doing their own thing, but would like to be able to have a round table of people to discuss things with at the end of the month and things like that, where we share their content, they share our content. We're getting along. I got Greco guys that are interested. I got to work on a freestyle guy, but I've got folk style guy interested. There's another entity that I'm possibly looking at taking and working with more that's on Rockfin that I've worked with before. Kind of working on that a little bit. So that's another piece to bring along as far as other content and things like that. So what Wrestle Inc. is meant to be is a group coming together. It's not meant to be just one thing where we're going to go out and we're going to do world team trials as Wrestle Inc. No, it's not that. We are that eventually when we come together, and it's just a group of people that are dedicated to the side of what they do. They don't make anything more off of each other. They don't make anything less. They keep doing their thing, but we come together at certain times. If it's at events, we team up so that way we know if we're at a tournament. I know that if I get some content, they'd be able to use it if they want to, or that if they get some content, I could use that in something that if I wanted to, because we're going to sit down and talk about it eventually anyways. Right. So freestyle, Greco, I'll try to get like beach wrestling guys involved in it. That's becoming a little bigger now.
Yeah.
So, and it's actually kind of interested me because it seems like it's a little bit of a faster sport as far as how scoring goes. As soon as you score, you're back up. You're not waiting to like turn. You score, you get back up. Kind of like that. It's kind of fun. So have a guy that talks about that. Now the Greco United guys, they're kind of interested. I brought it up to them that it's not something they're like, yeah, we're going to do it. We got to sit down and talk a little bit more. But it's literally, it's a conglomerate of people that are coming together. That's what it is in this sport. So I'm a firm believer. Like I said, Liam doesn't wrestle Greco competitively, but I still love watching Greco.
Yeah.
I still love watching the competition. I love watching how much action is. Kamal Bay is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Hands down. Like the guys, if you're watching the matches, there's going to be 5 or 4 somewhere along the line.
Oh yeah.
So I love watching it. So I think it's important that we have every single aspect covered. Every aspect, down to referees. Like, I think it's important.
You're like Nick Fury. You're putting together like a wrestling Avengers right now.
It's, when you get together and you form Ultron, it's one of those things where you just want to kick ass. And it's about the sport. Because again, we have all these entities that are out there doing one thing, promoting themselves.
Yeah.
And the sport comes along with it, but it's just a piece of the sport, whether it's folk style or freestyle, because that's what we live off here, right? I want all of it, right down to refereeing, right down to the water boy. Yeah. So everybody gets kind of like the energy of every angle of something. So if you go to a world team trial, you're going to hear about, the freestyle side from one person that we talk to, because I'm not going to get all of it. Right. Half the time I'm there probably watching a couple guys, but nine chances at a time I'm there because my kid's there. Right now, and further down the road when Liam's gone, I'm going to make my way to events where he's not at. And of course, I'm going to have more time to cover things. So Greco United guys, those guys were getting interviews of Greco guys at the World Team Trials. And they were telling me, they're like, you should have seen the faces of these guys when we were interviewing. They couldn't believe they were getting interviewed.
Yeah.
How fucking ridiculous is that? Yeah. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever, like, I get it. But at the same point though, too, like, why aren't these guys getting the coverage? Everybody deserves it. The girls wrestling is really starting to get a little bit more coverage. I think they're getting more coverage events wise. I don't think they're getting the coverage that they need when they're not at events. Oh, yeah. It's just, and it goes hand in hand with the whole stipend type situation. When you're the one winning, you're making the money, but you don't hear about that other guy. You don't hear about him because he's not the one that won 5 tournaments in a row. He's still a great competitor. That's kind of what we're trying to bring out.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, if you're looking for a Wisconsin rankings expert, I happen to know a guy and goes by Rank Wizard on the forum.
I haven't been on the forum in a while, and I remember that. Is that you? Are you Rank Wizard?
No, hell no.
Has anybody figured out who that ghost is?
No, I mean,
no?
they're good at hiding. They're a wizard. So.
I've not seen anybody at a meet I went to in a pointy hat. So
no ranking gnome.
I have not seen one.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll go out there. I'll go on that forum and be like, "Hey, has the ranking gnome been around lately? I haven't seen him around saying much lately."
I told Carson that was him. just see how pissed off he got.
Dude, he commented. Someone asked on the forum. I'm pretty sure it was him that replied. They asked about the sectional assignments because someone was like, I don't agree with the assignments or whatever.
Yeah.
And someone just said like, which assignments seem like iffy right now? Or like, what are they? Like, I think it's a fair question to ask.
Yeah.
Iffy?
That's on a forum. And this guy's like, well, why don't you do your own research? It's
whoa. Wow. Calm down. Jesus. This is what happens with the social media stuff, man. Like people get worked up over the simplest shit.
Oh yeah.
I think it's funny when you find like the rankings wizard puts his shit out, and he's like, and this is informal. You still think you're not going to get lambasted about something on here, like for real, guy?
I mean, if you really want to do your own, at least like provide a link or something.
Like, where are you getting your shit from? Like, where are you getting your numbers from? You just going on Track Wrestling, reading stuff? I think a lot of times he does.
Yeah.
Some of his rankings
back, he's like, sorry. He's like, sorry, I'm like an old man. I don't really I just wanted to know what people are discussing right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Holy shit, man. Well, that's crazy. That forum, I've been back on there. I think it was a while back, and there's just too much shit on there now.
Yeah.
There's too much. I mean, obviously you guys go on it all the time and you know what folders you're looking for. There's like 5 gazillion folders. Can you delete some? Just a few.
No, just main forum, man. That's all you need to know.
Can you go back 50 years and take the ones that nobody's commenting on anymore and just delete them so that way things are a little bit less messy in there? Damage control. That's all I'm saying. But I think it's funny sometimes some of the comments that were in there is just kind of hilarious. But Teague, when you go in there, do you like, I noticed that Jacob does put like little pieces of information in once in a while, like, we got this event thing, like things like that. Teague, I haven't noticed that you put anything in there. You've commented, but have you put stuff in there? Like, here's the link to my blog, or does Jacob do all that?
Depending on the podcast, like I'll put something on there. Jake put out like the sectional assignment podcast. I need to get better because the forum's a nice place to like put things. Yeah, but
nobody used mine, so I just took it down.
I'm just not a forum guy.
I'm not. And honestly, I started thinking about it too. I was like, there's a lot of babysitting that goes on with this shit. If it did really take off, I was like, I don't think I want to be a part of that.
I'm more of like a forum creep than anything. Like
that's me
hanging in the shadows,
hanging out in the background.
I think I just wanted to own something that I could creep around on and.
Yeah.
But I took it down. It just wasn't worth it. Nobody's going on it. So it's all just going to be PS portraits and podcasts and rainbows and unicorns and purple farts. You know?
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to start that. We're going to get going here, guys, because I mean, we've been going for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to start up the music, Teague, that you can't ever hear. Have you actually, since I've had this, have you listened to the song? Have you heard it?
I listened to the Greco guy and Emma Bruntel recently.
So,
I was actually going to request this song for whenever I'm on, and I forgot what song it was.
You should. Well, tell me what it is next time. I'll put it on. But Winans wrote this. Jason Winans, Brian's dad, wrote this.
Oh, I don't know why I tried to listen there.
I was just going to say, does it sound good? Because it sounds blank, doesn't it? But listen to the episode. That's Winans. But Jason Winans wrote that song. I was like, hey, dude, I'd like to have something original. I know you're a musician. Oh, yeah. Plus, he just finished my back tattoo. We just got done with that today. Appleton tattoo.
I was ask about that. I'm like, are you replaying your ads or like, is it done yet?
Nope. But hey, I appreciate you guys sitting down. Teague, I know you're busy. I know you're tired. Thank you. It's been a long weekend. Always. And Zach, I know that you're busy as well, and I'm glad that we were finally able to kind of get our Ultron together and make our robot machine thing go. Oh, yeah. But I appreciate everybody listening. I know everybody's been kind of looking for this for a while. They like it when we sit down and kibitz and talk shit about stuff, and especially Wisconsin wrestling. Sorry, Meldow, I didn't mean Kevin Black. Okay, don't blackball my kid or anything, or make him do extra push-ups when you see him. I'm sorry I mistook that, but everybody, this has been another episode of the Vision Quest podcast. Thank you, peace. We're out.
All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.